This morning we heard that AVA is returning in Taiwan, Macau, and Hong Kong. But what do we really all know about it yet? I'm going to try and break this down in a video and then also share the expectations and bits that I can derive from it for hopefully a US and EU version later on, although no information on that yet. So first off, what did we learn? So this morning we heard about AVA being republished, as I should call it, by a company called Happytuk. Happytuk is a company that is currently also publishing games like Closers, let's see, we had Closers Terra, but also Soldier Front 2 in Japan. Now, what did we learn from the publishment, from the news, and also from the video that they shared? We were informed that Happytuk is taking it over. They are launching the game in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau, and they're looking to post an OBT in this upcoming summer. Now, what they mention in the article, I'll make sure to include that in the description below, are a couple of interesting things. Because they mention that, well, of course, they talk about the story. Neo is taking over the developing rights, the IP rights, and now that Happytuk is able to take the publishing rights over from that. But what they said is, of course, we want to know a little bit what is the game going to be look like, or will look like there, and what's going to be happening. So first off, for the game itself, what they mention in the article is that it will be continued from the version at the end of the previous operator. That is what they mention. Now, what we know, the previous operator, which was Garena, they ended their services on July 30th of 2019, as also mentioned in the article. So it looks like what Taiwan is getting will be a game with a build of around mid-2019. However, what they also mention is, well, they first say whether it's classic modes like Hammer Blow, Escape, and so on. They are also saying it's also expected to launch a new demolition map in the open beta. Which one that is, unclear. But they also mention in terms of guns, due to the need to take into account the changes in the current mainstream Korean guns and the burden on the players caused by a large number of previous guns, the current number of AVA guns will not be completely extended at the initial stage. It is based on the current version of South Korea to make adjustments more suitable for Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau players. Which means that we will most likely see less guns in the opening stages. But as far as this looks like, if they're going to basically release the game as it was a year ago, remove some content from it and then gradually build it up, it looks like the goal that Neowiz has with publishing the game through Happytuk is to bring it up to par with the versions that they still run, which is Korea and Japan. That is at least what has been mentioned as well. They also shared a trailer for the announcement video and of course a news article. I'll link them both in the description. But with this news out of the way, with the official announcement for Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau, it is time to move on now to some, well, I guess speculations and see what will be happening now to US and EU. So first off, straight off the bat, there is no conclusive news yet for our version. I think that's very important to stress before we start this speculation, just in case that some of my words might be misinterpreted, because, well, as for now, there's currently no news. However, what I can say now is, with this news being out there, that Taiwan is being added to the publishing regions is a good sign. Now, we know the original regions, you had Korea, you had Japan, you had Taiwan, China as well, and then the Western region. Now what we know, we saw that in the game files already some GFXs and data piled up that is looking at a Chinese release perhaps, or at least making it ready for it. China has some different privacy laws and just general laws altogether that games need to adhere to when it comes to blood and gore, for example. Same applies for the C regions, by the way, for Taiwan, which is why those versions in the past had to be different too. So that is why some things will need to be different. But yeah, we see now that Taiwan is there. And with those signs being there, it looks like they are indeed looking to make AVA a global phenomenon again, which is also what they mentioned back in November. So that is good news. Speculations though, because what we can see now though is because they are continuing the servers from the old game basically, we know that the game is still going to have the same build, the same operating UA3, Unreal Engine 3 that is, and that there is, well, it's essentially still the old 2007 game, which is personally not exactly what I had anticipated. Some speculation from my end, I was expecting, I am expecting, I think you could still say, Neo is to work on an Unreal Engine 4 build that they will put out for global release to make it an actual competitor and make it a new game. Because at this point, let's face it, bringing out a 2007 game in the 2020 market is going to be slightly difficult. However, and that's a theory, it could be that bringing out this game and re-releasing it is going to be a transition period. Give Neowiz and the publisher some time to work with this game, adjust it with some feedback perhaps, and prepare a new game for that according to all the feedback that they get and experience that they obtain. Unless they just want to keep it on running and have the game extended for many, many years. For me, I still hope that it will be the theory that I mentioned, that they will use it as a bit of feedback. But we can at least see that because they are releasing this version now, for me at least, in my opinion, it should secure the longevity of the Korean and the Japan build for at least a couple of years. These versions will keep on running because otherwise you're not going to release a new game. And, as said, with this game now being out for Taiwan, Macau, and Hong Kong, it also makes it more reasonable to post out a version for the Western world. What is important to know, however, and we might get some questions about that later, what Happytuk announced for their game, though, is that regarding the game version and account information that players care about, the official pointed out, this is what he said, because the original factory has reintegrated the data in the past, it is regrettable that the original account cannot be re-acquired for transfer, but players can be assured that in the future will also be many feedback activities are held to allow players to play painlessly when restarting. This means that data will not be transferred. And that also means that if we are to get a version back, whether it be the old game or a new game in US or as a Western release, so for EU and US, it will very likely be without our old account info. Hopefully with that I've cleared up a couple of things in this short video. I hope you're just as excited as I am, but for now, again, it's been a long time without any news. It's been almost half a year since we last heard from them. It's been since mid-November last year that we heard from them. Now we finally heard about it again, so hopefully in the near future we will hear something about the release for the Western world. But for now we will just stay close, keep on monitoring the news, and as soon as there's more, inform you of that. If you have any questions though, make sure to leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. And as soon as there's more news, there will be another video like this. So take care, keep hoping, and hopefully see you soon on the battlefields.